We will now call the business session of the May 17th, 2022 meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. All council members are present. Welcome to all of our guests and visitors. We provide an opportunity for the public to address the City Council on any agenda item or during the hearing of visitors portion of the agenda. On items other than public hearings, speakers will be allotted 1 3-minute presentation, regardless of the number of agenda items the speaker wishes to address. If you're here to speak and have not filled out a registration card, please see the City Secretary staff at the registration table outside of the auditorium so that staff can contact you if necessary. If you have handouts, please let us know at the beginning of your presentation and staff will distribute those to council. If you are unable to approach the podium due to physical limitations, a microphone is available to be brought to you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item of business is to consider the minutes of the May 3rd, 2022 regular City Council meeting. These minutes were provided in your meeting packet. Are there any corrections? If none, those minutes will stand approved as submitted. And I have one proclamation for Mr. Bobby Horner from our building inspections supervisor. It is International Code Council's Building Safety Month. And I just want to thank our hardworking city staff to make sure that the properties that are constructed in our city are constructed safely. So it's my honor to read this proclamation. I, Dylan Meek, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Waco, do hereby proclaim May 2022 as International Code Council's Building Safety Month in the city of Waco, and urge the people of Waco to join with the city council, city staff, and me in recognizing the International Code Council, or ICC. The mission of the ICC is to provide the codes, tools, resources that members rely on, building safety professionals turn to, and manufacturers and the public trust. This year's theme, Safety for All, Building Codes in Action, encourages all Americans to raise awareness about the importance of safety and resilience in construction, fire prevention, disaster mitigation, and new technologies in the construction industry. Building Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely unknown guardians of public safety, our local code officials. In observance of Building Safety Month, Americans are asked to consider the commitment to improve building safety and economic investment at home and in the community, and to acknowledge the essential service provided to all of us by local and state building departments, fire prevention bureaus, and federal agencies in protecting lives and property. In testimony whereof, witness my hand and the seal of the city of Waco, this 17th day of May, 2022.
Mayor and council, each May, the International Code Council does proclaim May as Building Safety Month. As we know, and particularly here in Waco and around the country, building safety is a daily thing that we must watch. So I'm very proud to work with the great staff here at the city. I love promoting Waco and all the businesses that are coming here and continue to come here. The other thing that this affords me that I'm really interested in is being able to get into the schools to teach the younger generation about the codes. And we have opportunities through Skills USA, through our local Guama organization. So there's just a lot of opportunities. And the one thing that really makes me feel proud too is when people come to visit Waco, they say, man, it's just that good old Southern hospitality here. People are so nice here. And that makes me feel good personally. It makes me feel good for our city. So the building safety is something that is very near and dear to my heart, as our whole department and for everyone here. So thank you for this proclamation, and very much appreciated. Thank you.
Next on the agenda is public hearing 2022 294.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider a resolution approving the following subdivision plat. Final plat and construction plans of the Sanderson Farms Addition, Lot 4, Block 2. By a vote of 12-0, the Plan Commission recommended that subdivision plat be approved.
Are there any questions for staff? We will open a public hearing for comments. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? We will close the public hearing, and I will ask for a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Fairfield,
Yes.
Rodriguez. Aye. Waterroom,
Yes.
Palmer. Aye. Holmes.
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move to public hearing 2022-295.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider a resolution granting a special permit to Linkage Credit Union for a financial institution providing goods and services directly to customers and motor vehicles outside of an enclosed structure in the O2 zoning district on property described as Lot 9, Block 5 of the Meadowview Addition, known as 4527 Spade Avenue. By a vote of 12-0, Plan Commission recommended approval of the request based on the following findings. 1, the proposed use is consistent with the comprehensive plan. 2, the proposed use is compatible with the appropriate and orderly development of the area which is located. 3, the proposed use will not be more objectionable to neighboring properties because of traffic congestion, noise, fumes, vibrations, or any other characteristics than the use permitted in the zoning district without the grant of special exception. And 4, that available community facilities and services, including the road system, providing access to the proposed use are adequate for the proposed use.
Are there any questions for staff? We will open a public hearing for comments. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? If not, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll ask for a motion.
Move for approval. Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Fairfield. Yes. Rodriguez.
Aye.
Waterroom,
Yes.
Palmer. Aye. Holmes.
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move to public hearing 2022-296.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider a resolution granting a special permit to ZD Garrick Properties LLC for a bed and breakfast inn in an O2 zoning district on property described as lots 1 and 2, Block 4 of the J.T. Walton subdivision, known as 603 South 9th Street. By a vote of 12-0, Plan Commission recommended approval of the request based on the following findings. 1, the proposed use is consistent with the comprehensive plan. 2, the proposed use is compatible with the appropriate and orderly development of the area which is located. 3, the proposed use will not be more objectionable to neighboring properties because of traffic congestion, noise, fumes, vibrations, or any other characteristics any use permitted in the zoning district without the grant of the special exception. And 4, that available community facilities and services, including the road system providing access to the proposed use, are adequate for the proposed use.
Are there any questions for staff? We will open a public hearing for comments. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? If not, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll ask for a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Oh,
Somebody back there.
oh, sorry, we can, is there a motion? Oh, you'd like to speak? Sure.
Yeah.
On this one?
Come on open. I'll reopen the public hearing.
I would like to make the city council aware of one very simple issue. I was a worker at McDonald's, and I found that the Cates Corporation, franchise of McDonald's, is selling old product as fresh and trying to intimidate workers that if they go forward, including corporation policy, if anybody goes forward and says what's going on in McDonald's, they're fired. And as well as it seemed like they were hiring thugs there to come in there and intimidate me. I tried to
Sir, are you speaking on public hearing 2022-296 regarding the
talk to what
rezoning?
I filed in a different matter.
What's that?
Your lady up there said I filed her card for me to be able to talk publicly to the council about my matter, not related to this matter.
Hearing of
So
visitors.
it's the hearing of
Hearing
visitors.
of visitors in a moment, and you will be able to come and speak on
Oh,
that. in a
I
moment.
apologize.
No,
I don't
that's
know
okay.
the procedures here.
It's all right.
I'm really sorry.
Yes, sir.
Stick around.
This is just pertaining to the rezoning of 603 South 9th Street. Is there anyone here to speak on that item? If not, we will close that public hearing, and again, I will ask for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Bearfield,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Borderoom,
Yes.
Palmer,
No.
Holmes,
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move to public hearing 2022-297.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, providing that the Code of Ordinances of the City of Waco be amended by revising Section 28-247 and Chapter 28 zoning of said code, providing that the zoning map shall be changed at certain property described as lots 1 and 2, Block 1, of the Sedgwick Edition, known as 2022 and 2024 North Fifth Street, shall be changed from R2 district classification, become and be designated into O3 district classification, providing for penalties, providing a severability clause, and finding and determining at the meeting in which this ordinance is passed is open to the public required by law. By a vote of 9-3, the Plan Commission recommended approval of the zone change based on the following findings. 1, the proposed zoning is in keeping with the land use component of the comprehensive plan and the Imagine Waco plan for Greater Downtown. 2, the public infrastructure is adequate to provide for uses allowed in O3 zoning. 3, the property meets all the area and width requirements for O3 zoning. 4, there is O3 zoning near the subject property. And 5, the proposed O3 zoning is a low-intensity mixed-use zoning district that's compatible with the surrounding area and the development pattern of 4th and 5th Street corridor.
Are there any questions for staff? I will open a public hearing for comments. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? I'll close the public hearing and I'll ask for a motion.
I'll move for approval on first reading.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Bearfield, Rodriguez,
No.
Borderoom,
Yes.
Palmer. Aye. Holmes,
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move to public hearing 2022-298.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, providing that the Code of Ordinances of the City of Waco be amended by revising Section 28-247 and Chapter 28 zoning of said code, providing that the zoning map shall be changed so that certain property described as Lot 33, Block 1 of the Willow Bend Edition, known as 10273 Peony Lane, shall be changed from R1B district classification and become and be designated in R2 district classification, providing for penalties, providing a severability clause, and finding and determining the meeting which this ordinance is passed is open to the public and required by law. By a vote of 7-5, Plan Commission recommended approval of the request based on the following findings. 1, the proposed zoning is in conformance with the land use component of the comprehensive plan. 2, the property meets all area and width requirements for R2 zoning. And 3, the existing public infrastructure is adequate to provide for uses in R2 zoning district.
Are there any questions for staff?
Yeah, Holmes over here. One quick question, Clint. I just wanted to make sure that in the time from this afternoon to tonight, there's been no further opposition to this, rezoning request.
That's correct.
Okay. That's all I have.
There's a few folks back here that want to speak on it.
Sorry. Are we just doing questions for staff right now? I'm sorry, I think we're just doing questions for staff, but we will open a public hearing and you will have an opportunity to speak in just a moment.
That's all I had.
Do you have your question answered?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other questions for staff? I apologize.
Yeah, Mayor, just briefly, and Clint, just to kind of rehash what we discussed in the work session, usually a neighborhood like this is R1B consistently, but it has some strange zoning that predated the actual development of this subdivision. Is that correct?
Correct. Doing a little research, it appears the zoning was put in place in the mid-90s, and then the development didn't occur until about 10 to 15 years later. And that section of Willow Bend is all single-family. There is some duplex development further back, a couple of blocks back, and then some multifamily along China Spring Road, but the dominant development of that subdivision is single-family residential.
Thank you.
Any other questions for staff?
No.
Then we will open a public hearing for comment. Is there anyone here to speak on this item? Is there? Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Okay, my name is Elijah Basin, and my home of address is 9937 Iron Horse Trail in Waco. So first off, members of City Council, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on this matter tonight. We're here, my wife couldn't be here tonight, so it's just me. We're here requesting a change of zoning for 10273 Peony Lane. We would like the zoning changed to R2, and we got several reasons for that. So we purchased the property as an investment earlier in the year, and our ultimate goal with it is to turn it into a short-term rental, but in its current zoning, being R1, we can't do that. You know, we recognize the negative reputation that short-term rentals bring. You know, however, we do have a vested interest in the community surrounding that house. I mean, we live 2 blocks away on Iron Horse Trail. Right now, I currently take care of all the landscaping and maintenance of the property. You know, we're not foreigners from out of state who are only interested in profit. We do care about the welfare of the community. We both grew up here, Groesbeck, Texas specifically. We've lived in Waco the last 10 years, and I'm currently a police officer for the city of Waco. I've been doing that for 7 years, and I'm a detective right now. I think living so close to the property would allow us to keep a close eye on what activities are occurring so that it doesn't become a nuisance problem. There are currently only 3 short-term rentals in the China Spring area, and there's no hotels or motels. Because China Spring has many access points to Lake Waco, I think it would provide a convenient option for people coming out of town or even in town that want to access the lake. One last point is both my parents' health is currently declining, and we think that having a short-term rental would help bring them more close proximity for like flexibility in the scheduling, because if it's a long-term rental, if I get somebody in there, you know, it'd be kind of hard to break a lease if I have to at the last minute to try to get my parents closer to me. But that's all the points I wanted to bring up. I just appreciate your time letting me talk about this tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I have another card on this item, and that is Allison Caldera.
Good evening. My name is Allison, and I'm here with my husband and my 2 daughters tonight. We have lived directly next door to 10269 Peony Lane for the last 13 years. We came here today to oppose the rezoning of this property. We first became concerned when we found out this was going to become rental property. At this time, I would like to read a portion of a letter from the previous owner, Prima Wilson, who is unable to be here tonight. I recently graduated from a nurse practitioner program and found employment a few hours from Waco, which required us to relocate. We recently listed the house for sale, and my realtor was aware I did not want to sell the house to an investor. We did have a cash offer and turned it down. The offer we accepted was presented to us as a family that had been desperately looking for a home in the area for approximately a year. The financing was with a VA loan, which we were informed would have extra requirements, but opted to accept that offer since we not only were helping a family, we were helping a veteran. I was saddened to find out that this house was posted for rent a few short days after closing. I am not able to comprehend why someone would ask for this house to be a 2-family residence. I found it to be small for my family of 3. As you can see, myself, as well as several of our surrounding neighbors, were very disappointed in how this sale transpired. And now to find out that they want to turn it into a multifamily home and a short-term lease, I feel this will ruin the integrity of our neighborhood and decrease the value of our home. The homeowners on our block take pride in our properties. It is disappointing that the current tenants at this residence do not. For instance, I feel this is unacceptable to leave garbage overflowing out of your trash bins for 10 days, or to leave empty bins at the street for a whole week. Also, the yard does need to be mowed. And as far as elderly parents moving in, buying a 2-story house for elderly parents, I don't understand that. Basically, we did not want this home to become a rental, and we sure don't want it to become a multifamily home where people are allowed to come and go on a monthly basis. Again, I'm opposing this rezoning request and hope that you will take our concerns into consideration. Thank you.
Is there anyone else here to speak on this item? I will close the public hearing, and I will ask for a motion.
Can I ask staff one more question?
Sure.
Mayor? Did Ms. Caldera's comments are very compelling. Were hers already registered in the opposition? Or does that require a recalc of the?
I am not sure because we'd have to check that because both of the cards that were submitted did not have names on them.
Names, yeah, I noticed that. So we don't know if that hit the 20%, 200-foot minimum?
Sorry, what's the question for staff?
I think Clint understands my question.
Yes, the day before the meeting a couple of weeks ago, I actually emailed 3 different people the card because it was the mail. And actually, one other person, theirs was lost in the mail, and I think that y'all didn't get all the cards that were supposed to come through. I spoke with them. But yes, I did. I did submit one.
Okay. And that was, we're not sure if that was the one that was presented or not in the materials.
That's not enough to trigger.
Right. I guess my other question, this goes through 2 readings, right, for Jennifer, or?
Yes, so this would be a zoning change, so it would have first reading and second reading.
Okay.
Obviously, if it passed tonight, it would have a second reading.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Clint.
Are there any other questions for staff?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to disapprove, just on the grounds that while I'm grateful for the applicant's service to our community and our nation, I think, we worked out a year ago that R1B shouldn't have, under any circumstances, short-term rentals, and this is obviously an attempt to change the zoning to allow for a short-term rental. And on that grounds, I will be voting to disapprove and moving to disapprove.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Please vote, council.
Bearfield. Yes. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Borderoom.
Yes.
Palmer. Yes. Holmes.
No.
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move to public hearing 2022 that's it.
That's it.
The following resolutions were pulled from the consent agenda and will be voted on separately, 2022-301 and 2022-305. Is there a motion for 2022-301?
Move for approval.
I have a card from Dr. Alan Northcutt.
Alan Northcutt, and you do have a handout which has more information related to what I'm going to say. With some $2.6 million in TIF funds being provided for this Magnolia headquarters development, we're pleased to see some requirements included that address our climate emergency. This is a time when we are seeing the effects of planetary warming right now with summer-like temperatures in Waco in early May and associated air quality degradation. And the most recent drought monitor map of the county on May 12 showed the entire county in drought, ranging from severe to extreme to exceptional. So as we have advocated for, there's a requirement for, quote, inclusion of 4 EV charging stations in the parking lot, end quote. But to make this requirement meaningful, it must be more specific. EV charging station can mean nothing more than a 110-volt outlet. What this should state is, it should specify level 2 J1772 charging units, and these will charge all non-Tesla cars and Tesla with an adapter. That would make it clear what's required. In addition, the number of 4 units is really inadequate. Within the lifetime of this parking lot, it's expected that by 2030, half of new car sales will be EVs. So with 200 employees plus visitors, at least a dozen level 2 chargers are needed. Rich and Associates parking consultants note that some city governments are amending building codes now to require 25 to 30% of parking spaces to be EV charging capable or ready. On the other requirement about the statement is simply solar energy component, and this is totally vague. So rather than reinvent the wheel, we can look at what some requirements are, in other areas. California has a new 2022 code for commercial buildings, and that requires PV to meet a target of 60% of building load. In addition, they require battery storage of 10% of load. So I think that would be a reasonable requirement, 60% of the building power load or power requirement. And a battery is certainly, needed, is happening in the future, and that could be included as well. Finally, we would recommend, it's not included here in the requirements, but that this building and the test kitchen be all electric, in line with federal and global goal to reach net zero emissions by 2050, and to improve the health of the employees in that building. Some chefs may be resistant to this, but the fact is we will have to electrify cooking and all building components in the future, and it's much more expensive to change, a gas stove to electric. I can vouch for that myself. So I would support that being added. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Northcutt. Is there anyone else here to speak on this item? We have a motion and a second. Please, any discussion? Please poll the council.
Stating for the record, Councilmember Bordereau and Councilmember Palmer are disqualified. Bearfield?
Yes.
Holmes?
Aye.
Meek?
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move to Resolution 2022-305. Is there a motion for this?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Any I do have a card, sorry. I have a card, and that is from Wendy Ellis. Ms. Ellis, are you here? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Wendy Ellis. I'm the CEO for United Way of Waco, McLennan County, and I just wanted to come this evening and thank you for considering this grant application. It's directly in line with the community movement for child well-being that our organization has been facilitating over the last couple of years. And in our research and surveying of local parents, child care availability was among the top 5 items that impact our local families' well-being. Among the items identified in community conversations and surveys, parents identified these items as being most important to them when considering child care facilities. Clean, safe environment, learning important skills for their children, that the facility was affordable, had convenient hours, and licensed and highly trained staff. We found that neighborhoods throughout Waco are experiencing a child care desert or have insufficient slots available for children and families in that area, namely in zip codes 76707 and 76711, which have 2 of our community centers located there. So providing additional resources to these centers increases the availability of quality in these communities. Allowing for the provision of additional resources to these and other centers will help ensure children are able to access a vital resource to support their cognitive development, build social skills, and provide access to physical activity. We also find that too many parents cannot work because child care is not available nearby or is too expensive due to the high cost of the programs. So if this grant was to be able to provide scholarships to these families, it would relieve a major burden. We also know that high-quality child care is a real benefit to our business community as well. According to the Council for a Strong America, businesses lose an average of $13 billion annually due to insufficient child care. By giving working parents the peace of mind that their children are safe and well cared for, local companies will experience improvements in their productivity, absenteeism, retention, and bottom line growth. In addition, quality child care facilities help in preparation for a quality workforce by preparing children today. As our community works towards more equitable outcomes in health, education, and income, among other areas, we hope that securing funds for distribution to child care services will make an impact on children's school readiness, caregivers' ability to enter or re-enter the workforce, and better support overall for family health and well-being. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Thanks for all you do for our community. Is there anyone else here to speak on this item? We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Please poll the council.
Stating for the record, council members Bordereau and Palmer are disqualified. Bearfield,
Not for this.
I believe so. Sorry, Michelle.
my apologies. Councilmember Bearfield,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Bordereau, Palmer, Holmes.
Aye.
Meek.
Motion carries. Next to the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of resolutions 2022-299 through 231, except for 301 and 305. Is there a motion on the consent agenda? Any discussion? Council.
Yes. Aye.
Bordereau, Palmer, Holmes.
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. And now for ordinance 2022-322.
An ordinance repealing Resolution Number 2006-508 and amending Article 2, Boards, Commissions, Committees of Chapter 2, Administration of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Waco, Texas, to add Division 6, Veteran Affairs Advisory Board, providing for the authority, purpose, and membership of the board, providing a savings clause, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for an effective date, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and finding and determining the meeting at which this ordinance is passed, open to the public as required by law. This ordinance comes to council on first reading.
Is there a motion?
Yes, I move to repeal, repeal, amend, and add according to the statement here.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just briefly want to say I'm grateful to our mayor, my colleagues on council, our city manager, and city staff for authorizing the creation of this board, which seeks to coordinate our community's efforts in serving veterans, strengthening our bonds with the VA, and making Waco a destination for veterans and military retirees alike. Special thanks to Chief of Staff Ashley Nystrom and Assistant City Attorney Sarah Rayleigh, along with Melinda Bonds of the Heart of Texas Behavioral Health Network for her advice on this, and to probably the greatest friend that veterans have in McLennan County, who is Steve Hernandez, who's been a great advisor, a tireless advocate, and my partner in crime on a lot of veterans issues publicly for this. But I'm thinking this will do a lot of good for our veterans in this community, and I'm grateful to all for making this happen.
I just want to commend Councilmember Borderoud and the rest of our council for getting behind this. And I believe I see Josh's mom here in the audience tonight. Thank you for being here. Welcome. And I just want to commend you for your good work to really catalyze this. So thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Mayor.
Please poll the council.
Fairfield,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Bordereau,
Yes.
Palmer,
Aye.
Holmes,
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move to ordinance 2022-323.
An ordinance approving the final project plan and reinvestment zone financing plan for tax increment reinvestment zone number 4, City of Waco, Texas, pursuant to Chapter 311 of the Texas Tax Code, determining the plan is feasible, containing findings and provisions related to the foregoing subject, providing a severability clause, and finding and determining the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. This ordinance comes to council on first reading. And this is the other item where council persons Bordereau and Palmer are disqualified.
Is there a motion?
Move for approval on first reading. Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
For the record, Palmer and Holmes are disqualified. Palmer and Bordereau are disqualified. Yes. Fairfield, Rodriguez,
Aye.
Holmes.
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move to ordinance 2022-324.
An ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, establishing standards of care for City of Waco youth programs, repealing all previous ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing a severability clause, and finding and determining the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. This ordinance was approved by a 6-0 council vote on first reading on May 3rd, 2022.
Is there a motion?
Move for approval on second reading.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Bearfield.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Bordereau.
Yes.
Palmer. Holmes.
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. Next is the hearing of visitors, and during the hearing of visitors section of the agenda, we provide an opportunity for the public to present concerns or address issues that are not matters for consideration listed on the agenda. Council is unable to conduct discussion, but will listen, ask staff to look into concerns, and provide follow-up. Please provide registration information so that staff can contact you if necessary. If you have handouts, please let us know at the beginning of your presentation, and staff will distribute those to council. If you're unable to approach the podium due to physical limitations, a microphone is available to be brought to you. While public discourse is very important, to the council, we have to maintain order in the meetings so that all persons may be heard. So, if directed by me, the Sergeant of Arms shall remove from the council meeting any person while addressing the city council or while attending the city council member meeting makes personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks, becomes boisterous, or makes unauthorized remarks from the audience, claps hands, stomps feet, whistles, yells, or makes similar demonstrations. And we have 3 cards tonight. The first is Aaron Vanzant.
Good evening. If it's not obvious already, this is my first time here. I feel like I have a sign on my forehead, very nervous. I wanted to come and speak with you guys to talk about a very unfortunate situation that happened to me and my family this past week. If you followed the Humane Society of Central Texas on Facebook, you'll see that there's been a few parvo incidents with puppies, and stuff like that going on. Unfortunately, I was one of the adoptees who one of the puppies belonged to. Everything that I've put out in the folder is in chronological order. It's honestly crazy. The event was very unfortunate. I'm here to complain against the Humane Society for not being transparent at all through this entire thing. I also have extra handouts of my call logs of how frantic and panicked I was this entire time. I spoke with the operations director or manager, Jordan Cervantes, which all of that is in the folder, and he told me that both puppies did not make it to Austin. He lied to someone in the Humane Society was not being truthful with the community, lied to the community about both puppies making it. I'm sorry, I know that your kids are here, so I do apologize. I've been in contact with Austin Pets Alive. I have all of their contact information, and both stories aren't adding up. Jordan told the manager over this whole parvo clinic in Austin Pets Alive that both dogs were on their way to Austin Pets Alive, and one dog did die in transit. However, I have a voice recording of Jordan telling me that my dog was sent to Austin Pets Alive, and the other dog was in the other room isolated, and that he would not make it. So I'm assuming that they were going to put him down, hopefully. I'm sorry, public speaking's not my thing. Parvo is a very disgusting, horrendous disease, honestly. I have so many printouts of the Kennel Club and everything, comparing it to Ebola and the flu, as far as it's very easy to vaccine, like the flu. But as far as like in your body, it does terrible things to you, absolutely terrible things to you. And it is extremely cruel and considered animal cruelty if not treated properly. I printed out a calendar for you guys to see that I adopted Bernie Mac on Monday, and unfortunately he died on Saturday morning. I show you where the Austin Pets Alive actually told, the Humane Society reached out to Austin Pets Alive, said that they needed help, and the Humane Society had well over a day and a half to try and find transportation for the 2 animals. The entire time I was not contacted once by the Humane Society of Central Texas. In my contract it states that...
Ms. Vanzant, please wrap up your time.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to complain about the transparency. I hope you guys take the packet. Any questions, please contact me. Thank you so much.
We'll have staff check into this, and we appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. The next card I have is Mr. Albert Thatcher.
I apologize for the
No problem.
earlier incident. I just wanted to say, I gave the history about what's going on with Cage Corporation and McDonald's. Whether it's true or not, I know things are. Whether I'm crazy or not is not the issue at hand. The issue is that if I went to the police department and they act like the defense counsel for these possible thugs and wouldn't even allow me to fill a report. Like I said, whether I'm crazy or not, whatever's going on, honest citizens like me have a right to go to that police department, no matter what it is, if we suspect, whether we're crazy or not, whatever it is, and be able to file a report of possible criminal activity without being stonewalled at the front as they act like defense counsel to defend whatever action. These thugs know this. They know exactly how to go about things, and other people. With that issue dropped, I just wanted to make people aware, and I think it's wrong. I think anybody should be able to go to that police and file a report. The second issue is with your bus station, your transit, Waco Transit. I had for a month a bus driver doing things like if I'm, so flag down, if I'm in front of my home, he stops like comparable to that picture. Next day I stand there, he goes 5 feet down, wherever I stood. But if I go walk 5 minutes, he goes right in front of me. Well, I was just being polite and patient with this man until I was at work. I was about from here to maybe that exit sign from where you sat. I was going to try to make it where you, when the bus stops are. He drives right past me while I'm holding one of these tickets, faulty tickets up here. Faulty tickets are made in such a way, I was just taking it out of my wall, that this wears away and then doesn't work on the machinery. I make a complaint against the, at this time it was still working. I make a complaint against this driver, an official complaint, and then it's not working, so I go to the front guy and I tell him, hey, you know, how can I think I got a few more days on this, how can I find out if it's working? He sends me to that very bus driver I'm making a complaint at, and the bus driver says there's no way to do it. So I simply ask, well, why did at your office, I don't know the exact title for it, but at that, in the corner, the front place, why did they tell me, you can tell me how much I have on you? He argues with me that he doesn't address my question in any way, he just argues with it can't be done, trying to sound like I'm complaining. Was asking, okay, if it can't be done, and they obviously know exactly how to go about it. I mean, they're experienced drivers and an experienced professional, and they're sending me back and forth. And finally, at this front office, he says, another day, he says, go to talk to the driver, and please, excuse me, my adrenaline's going 20,000 miles per hour right now.
Mr. Thatcher, please, you're out of time. Please wrap up your comments.
Well, I'm just going to say that I can't even go there because after all these little hustles and scams are there, I mean, no more to scam or posing as honest professionals. I go in there, they're threatening to call the police on me and making me guilty or be said trespassing. And on top of that, it was for no more than stepping off a bus and rebuking them in the language that I felt appropriate for their thievery. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Thatcher. The last card we have is Mr. Robert Aguilar.
Congratulations. Thank you. I'm Robert Aguilar. I'm the coordinator of civil rights for LULAC. And I want to talk about the Baylor land that everybody's been trying so hard to build before the community has any input. My question is, why didn't y'all come to South Waco and ask what we wanted? Y'all didn't do that. And to me, I'm a sociologist, I'm looking at systemic racism and supremacy. No, we didn't go to you because we know more than you. We're supreme. No, we didn't go to you because we don't like the color of your skin. It's not important to us. Now, maybe you aren't racist, but the actions you're taking smacks of racism, ladies and gentlemen. We've been asking for input for 6 months on this project, and we have trouble getting our phone calls returned. by you and by a gentleman named Ken. No one will return our calls. The mayor did return my calls, and I appreciate that. But we want to know what's in that package. I was here last time when y'all showed the package on one of these drop things, and not once did any of y'all talk about South Waco. You only talked about the Baylor land and the beautiful park for the Baylor land and the beautiful trail for the Baylor land. People were calling me and asking me, are they going to charge us? Oh, can we go there? Y'all didn't talk about the impact it was going to have on the residents of South Waco. Let me tell you what the impact's going to be. 4th and 11th Street. Alice knows this. In 1990, a friend of mine called me and said, Robert, they're going to red tag the homes and get rid of them. And sure enough, over 1,000 families were run out of South Waco. Let's move the minorities away from Baylor. That's why the I-35 was built there by and moved by the gentleman who used to run Ford. Let's move them away. So where did they move to? To North Waco. Now what are they going to do with us? What are they going to do with us? You know it's going to happen again. That's why they're building a $350,000 house. They ain't going to want to live next to an $80,000 home. Folks, you haven't given us a chance to have input. You have not given us a chance to say what we want. You guys don't live there. We do. Alice does. But we wanted was affordable housing, not these big old houses out there. And what's the traffic going to be like? You got 2 exits that people are going to be using, maybe 3 with Clay.
Thank you for your time. Have a good day.
Okay, but we need to talk about this, gentlemen. And I understand that in 2 weeks they're going to do a meeting. We'll be there.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. Other people spoke longer. They didn't want you to run around.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else present who would like to speak during the hearing of visitors?
Nope.
Seeing no one else, we'll close the hearing of visitors. And I'll ask if there are any council reports on committees, boards, commissions, or liaison visits.
Nope.
If not, then we will move to the election process. The next order of business is the election process and the canvassing of the election return. City Secretary, Ms. Hicks, would you please proceed with the canvassing of the election?
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and Council. As a custodian of the records for the City of Waco pursuant to the Waco, Texas Code of Ordinance, Section 2-111, and City of Waco Election Register under Texas Election Code, Section 67.006, presented to the City Council the certified election results, which were delivered via email from the McLennan County Election Administrator on May 13, 2022. Pursuant to the election services contract executed on the first day of February 2022, the City of Waco ballots for the May 7th, 2022 general and special election were counted, tallied, and certified on behalf of the City of Waco by Jared Goldsmith, McLennan County Elections Administrator. The certified election returns have been in the custody of the City Secretary since received. The precinct tabulations were provided to Mayor Dylan Deek in a sealed envelope, and copies were provided to each council member, which include the votes received by precincts from each candidate, the number of voters who cast a ballot in each precinct, and the total votes received.
I believe I am now to open this sealed envelope, correct? Let's see the seal.
Mayor, should we all open our packets?
You are all welcome to open your packets.
Hermetically sealed.
Please give us the election results.
2022, the legal votes cast for the general and special elections are as follows. For District 1, Andrea Jackson Bearfield, 452 votes, 69.35% of the votes. Russell Rhodes, 115 votes, 17.65% of the votes. Ephraim Herring, 84 votes, 13% of the votes. For District 2, Armando Arvizu, 113 votes, 30.38% of the votes. Alice Rodriguez, 139 votes, 37.37% of the votes. And Tiffany Benana, 120, 32.26% of the votes. Total votes cast, 1,023 votes.
As Mayor of the City of Waco, Texas, in meeting with the Waco City Council, sitting as the canvassing authority to canvass the election for the general and special election on May 7th, 2022, do hereby certify the totals presented and are all votes received by each candidate according to the certified tabulations and has been read into the record by the City Secretary. I further certify the vote totals include early voting votes by precincts received under Section 87.1231 of the Texas Elections Code. The next item is to consider approval of Resolution 2022-325 declaring the results of the general election of the City Council District 1 and for the special election to fill the unexpired term ending in May 2023 for the election of City Council 2, held on Saturday, May 7th, 2022, as previously read into the record. Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Bearfield,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Borderoux,
Yes.
Palmer, Holmes,
Aye.
Meek.
Yes. Motion carries. And now we will conduct the oath of office. Will council members Andrea Bearfield, Alice Rodriguez, Josh Borderoux, and I will be there as well, join City Secretary Michelle Hicks in front of the dais for the oath of office.
Okay, please raise your right hand and say your name where I say my name and repeat after me. I, Michelle Hicks. Do solemnly swear. That I will faithfully execute the duties. Of the office of mayor or council member. Of the state of Texas. And will to the best of my ability. Preserve. Protect. And defend. The Constitution. And the laws of the United States. And of this state. So help me God. Congratulations.
And while we're here, I have the certificate of election. As mayor, I will issue certificates of election to Councilmember Andrea Jackson Bearfield, District 1, Councilmember Alice Rodriguez, District 2, and Councilmember Josh Borderoux of District 3.
Dylan Meek was duly elected for the purposes of May 7th, 2022 election pursuant to Ordinance 2022-167 issued on March 15th, 2022, canceling the election scheduled for May 7th, 2022 as Waco City Council Mayor in testimony whereof I have hereunto signed my name and caused the seal of the City of Waco to be affixed at the City of Waco the 17th day of May, AD 2022. Josh Woodruff, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to, before we have, we do have one more item, but before we move on to that, I thought this would be a good time for council members to be able to, we do we have a moment for comments in a second, so actually I'm going to skip over that and move on to the next item, which is Resolution 2022-326. The next item is to consider approving this resolution, designating one of the council members as Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Waco, and I'll ask for a motion at this time.
Yes, Mayor. After 7 long months of shouldering the great weight of serving as essentially the vice mayor of Waco, today I happily surrender the mantle to my esteemed colleague from District 4, Kelly Palmer. And so moved.
I will second that motion.
Motion and a second. Please poll the council.
Bearfield?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Aye.
Bordereau?
Yes.
Palmer?
Heck yes.
Holmes?
Aye.
Meek?
Yes. Motion carries. And now we have no presentations.
Shall we?
Congratulations to Mayor Pro Tem Palmer. And we have an opportunity for all council members to make comments at this time.
I'll go first since I didn't win anything tonight. We got 4 winners and the new Mayor Pro Tem. Just one at a time here. Andre, you and I came on council at the same time, and I've got such respect for you, and you represent the city so well. You do a lot of traveling, and you represent not only D1, but the entire city, and so I'm happy that you were reelected. Alice and Dylan, you guys were here when I was elected, and I've learned a lot from you guys, and I honor you, and you've been patient in helping me become a better councilman, and you guys are just great. Josh, congratulations on running unopposed. That's the best way to run an election. But you're in the fastest growing district there, and you got a lot of folks in there that really trust you, and your contribution to council has been fantastic. Kelly, again, you're new on council too, but you got up to speed so quick, and I admire your passion and your knowledge of the issues and getting up to speed. And it's a joy to work with you. This council is very ambitious, as you all know. We're doing a lot of work with infrastructure downtown Waco, services, best-in-class services, operational efficiency, and but we're kind of like a family too. We don't always agree on everything, but we get along, and I hate to tell everybody that have fun up here, but this is a fun family to work with. So congratulations, everybody, and just remember, next time I run for something, thanks, guys.
Let me go next if I can, because my family's here and they're waiting to go to their baseball tournament, but they came ahead. So I just want to thank my family, because without my family, I wouldn't be sitting up here, I guarantee you. I want to thank my family for being supportive, for coming out tonight before their baseball games. I want to thank my niece Belinda and her son Kirby and my sister Vera for being out here tonight. And Dee, thank you for being out here as well. I want to thank all my voters, my supporters in District 2 for allowing me to represent them again one more year. So thank you. Thank you for being here as well. Oh, and Joe, my stepson Joe Rodriguez. Thank you for being here as well. John, my biggest supporter, John Montes, and my boss, by the way, who allows me to have time to come up here and take time off of my job to come up here and represent District 2. Thank you, John. Thank you for being here as well. I didn't see you. You were too small there.
So, thank you for tonight. Tonight is really exciting for me, being able to serve you've been on longer than me, Jim. This started my third term, and bye y'all, good game.
See you in Melly here? Tapon. I didn't see you in Melly here. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry.
Well,
They're all going
so
to go play ball.
maybe I won't wish you so good luck. But no, seriously, this has been an amazing time for me personally, and seeing District 1 grow, seeing Waco grow, seeing our leadership expand, the thought process of our leadership expand, and the ability for Waco's real footprint to be felt. We have been just shy of, or at the precipice of greatness for a long time, but I think now with the team that we have amassed and with the forward thinking of our community, the dedication to our community, and the thoughtfulness of our leadership, we are there. I'm blessed to have my family with me today, my husband, my children, my mother in love, and then the people in my family that are my bonus, my village, that are here, that stand with me consistently and support me, and our new friends that have come to Waco and experience Waco for what it is, but have stood right up and decided to put their weight in and to make their impact felt. I noticed that I was very pleased to see both of the people who were my opponents in the race come tonight, because that means so much. What it means is that regardless of the outcome, you're committed to the work. And so I appreciate you and I see you. What I know going forward is that District 1 not only has the opportunity to really showcase its many, many jewels and gems, but will continue to grow and advance Waco at a pace that, yes, District 3 may be the fastest moving. However, I think that with some of the richness and heritage and culture that lives and was born in District 1 as the entryway into Waco, we have such a story to tell, and I'm so excited that now we really get a chance to do so. It has been my honor and pleasure to work alongside each and every one of you, and I think that these next 2 years will be some of our best, so thank you.
To Andrea and to Alice and to our mayor and mayor pro tem, and I love what Councilwoman Barefield said just about this moment that we're in. I think we are in such a good stride as a city, and we've found a good rhythm with one another and with our incredible city staff, and we have really important work ahead of us, and we are ready for the task, and we will do this task with our eyes wide open and being honest about the things that are ugly and hard about Waco's past, and with hope and with expectation that goodness lies before us and that Waco will be a city that is equitable and thriving and where we create opportunity for everybody. And I think this is the team to move that role forward, and I'm excited. Josh was going to give me a sash to become mayor pro tem, and I'm a little disappointed he didn't, deliver, but excited to sit next to our mayor, who I've had the pleasure of being friends with for several years, and being a strong D4 voice in the middle of the dais, and see what the next year holds.
Thank you all for your kind comments, and I echo those. This is a wonderful council to serve on, and I consider you all friends and advisors and just partners in this business of governing the city. For me, it's a joy and a privilege to serve on Waco City Council. I know the last 18 months have been, to say the least, memorable in the things that we've been dealing with up here and that the city has been dealing with as a whole. I'm excited to continue to do the work of our city alongside our visionary mayor and this wise council. I want to express my gratitude to my wife, Jennifer Borderud, and my children, RC and Lily, for all their love and support, and to my mother, who's here in attendance tonight. She was here 18 months ago when I was sworn in, alongside my father, who is now no longer with us, and lost him and my grandfather in the last 18 months. And I'm hopeful that my service on council will honor their legacy of service to our country, and I just am looking forward to the next 2 years with this group.
I'll wrap us up and just first of all say thanks to my wife, Lindsay, my daughter, Mabry, and son, Davis. Can y'all give us a wave? There they are. I couldn't do this without you. I love you. Lindsay, thank you so much for letting me process and dream and vision and talk through different issues and challenges, and you're grounded and wise and thoughtful, and I couldn't do this without you, and I love you with all my heart. Mabry and Davis, I'm so proud of you, proud of who you're becoming every single day. It's so fun to get to see you guys grow up, and it's been a series of, I've had the privilege of getting sworn in a couple times now, and it's so fun to see you getting a little taller and bigger every time y'all walk in this room. I love you guys so much. And thank you for not ripping anything off the walls or tearing anything up. I also want to thank our Lindsay and I's family that's not here, my parents, Lindsay's parents, and our siblings who cheer us on, pray for us, and love us from afar. I would be remiss if I didn't take a brief moment to thank previous mayors that have come before me, Cal Deaver and Malcolm Duncan, who I call probably more than they'd like me to, asking for advice and wisdom. I wouldn't want to do this without our city staff. Bradley, Jennifer, Michelle, welcome on board. Judge Taylor, who's not here, and then the CMO as well, Deidre, Lisa, Ryan, Paul, and Ashley. This would not be fun. This would not be interesting. This would not be exciting if it wasn't for the diligent, hard, dedicated work of our city staff. And it's so fun to get to sit and play our role in this, but the reality is that what we've worked to achieve these last couple of years would never be possible if it wasn't for your competency, your kindness, your friendship, and the leadership that you bring to this city. So thank you for all that you do. To Alice, Andrea, and Josh, congrats on your election. To Kelly, congrats on your election as our pro tem. And Jim over there too. He's here.
Jim's here too.
We have such a great council, with diverse skill sets and wisdom and humor, and a commitment to the city. And I'm so thankful. Like I said with staff, I wouldn't want to do this if it wasn't for you guys. And the sharpening, the ideas, the vision that each member has here is so significant. And again, so incredibly thankful for your friendship, as well as for your partnership in working diligently to make Waco a better city. Community and friends out there, thanks for your texts, your encouragement, your prayers. Couldn't do this without those folks as well. I do want to give a brief thank you to my employer, as was mentioned, like by Alice, First Title. I thank you for the flexibility to come here. My partners up there. And last, just my list of thank yous is for the members of our city, neighbors, pastors, nonprofits, businesses, organizations, partners, neighborhood associations. This is a team sport. We talked about that earlier. This is a team sport, and for us to accomplish the goals that we've set out, it requires all of us to come and play ball, and I am so thankful for the team we have. I came into this role with this council in the middle of a pandemic, and I'm so thankful to have been able to serve with this team of staff members and this council in the heat of that unprecedented moment, and really look back at the last year and a half and see so many great things that we were able to accomplish in the midst of that. I agree with the words that have been used that we're in an incredible moment right now. It's a moment of incredible opportunity. I am always blown away at how often it seems like the world is watching Waco, and I believe that's for good, and because that we can be a model of how to do so many incredible, exciting things, like growing our economy in a way that works for everybody, advancing our quality of life, being thoughtful with smart growth and improving our infrastructure, and really stewarding the organization of this city in a way that I think is thoughtful and strategic. So I believe that the best days are ahead in this city. We've got a lot of good to come, and I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and continue to work elbow to elbow and shoulder to shoulder with each member of our team. So thanks to everyone for being here tonight. With that, please join us for a reception in the McLennan Room, which is on the door to your, over here, your left. My left, your right. The city secretary staff is able to direct you. And there being no further business, we'll adjourn at 7.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
may I interrupt just a minute?
Please.
My campaign treasurer is just now walking out. I didn't recognize him earlier. Adrian Fajardo, thank you for being here. I know they're expecting their first baby any minute now, so he's in a hurry.
No further business. This meeting will stand adjourned at 7:13 p.m.